What's going on, guys? JPP Duel here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Thursday. And for today's matchup, we have an Adventures Pranks versus a Sword Soul, with my opponent playing Sword Soul going first. Now, a couple of things I wanted to tell you guys before the gameplay begins is that this is not my main account, so it's not a Diamond 1 gameplay. However, my Smurf account was Diamond 5 before the reset, so this is a Diamond 5 gameplay. So keeping that in mind, let's get on with the game's replay. My opponent normals out the incredible Ecclesia. Now Ecclesia can be specialed on the field if your opponent has more monsters than you. So normaling out this Ecclesia tells me that he's pretty bricked in the hand. Otherwise he would have started his combo off of a Taya or Moye or even a Longyan from his hand to go into Baron de Fleur and then afterwards make plays if he had a combo extension, right? So he activates the Ecclesia, we instantly proceed to Ash Blossom that, thinking that he may have just completely bricked in his hand. The Ash goes through, no negation towards the Ash, and my opponent just ends his turn right then and there. No card set, nothing whatsoever. So the only thing I have to be worried about at this point when I do go into my combo are Maxi, the Impermanence, or Effect Veiler. Now since we have a Pranks in our hand, we do not care about the Imperm on our Doodle-Doo or an Effect Veiler on our Doodle-Doo because the search does not matter. We could send a copy of Pandemonium to the graveyard and go into our second Doodle-Doo and fish that copy back out. So it would have been a pretty standard full one card combo even through our Doodle-Doo search negation. So first of all, I activate the Faithful Adventure and then search for the Enchantress. I banish the Enchantress, get my right, and this is where I made a mistake. What I should have done was not committed my normal summon to the play, because when I was doing all my things, when I was doing all my activations, my opponent's side of the field kept getting highlighted, so I thought maybe he has Maxi, maybe he has Imperm, or Effect Veiler once I put my monster on the field, or maybe he had Ash Blossom, or 90% chance him having Maxi, or maybe a Lancia. So he maxes me, that means we cannot go into our combo whatsoever. Our Trinket's full combo will give our opponent close to 10 or 12 cards, so again, that is way too many cards to give our opponent, and he could have drawn into hand traps, could have killed us, so no point in doing that. So what I end up doing is, since I had a card banished, a monster card banished, we could go into Nemesis Corridor, and the Corridor can go into our Colossus. That means we could lock our opponent out of card searches. Now, Sword Soul is a deck that relies on card searches, so this Colossus would have been pretty useful. That's the reason why I gave him the +2, and if I had gone this route through my right, I would have given him +3. I know it's just one extra card, but I did not want my opponent to have that one extra card because that one extra card could have been a game maker or a game breaker. That's the reason why I normaled out my dropsies over putting the right into a token. I just did not want my opponent to have the +1. So we do all that. I put my Thunder Dragon Colossus in face-up defense, which was a bad play on my part. This is turn 2, so I missed out on 2.6k damage, but I was trying to play around a Lightning Storm in case this guy runs a Lightning Storm. Keep in mind, this is Diamond 5. You never know what kind of weird tech you run into. So that's the reason for the Colossus in face-up defense. Now, he immediately proceeds to Imperm my Colossus. That means we do not get a card search lock. Now, I don't know if you guys realize what the opponent did. He specialed out the Griffin, and he used up his normal on Ash Blossom. Keep this in mind once we see what the gameplay is into the replay. So he wasted his normal summon on Ash Blossom, right? He goes into Baron de Fleur. Now he activates his Emergence, searches for a Longyan. He activates the Longyan, discards a Taya to get the Longyan on the field to go into Sovereign. Now, understanding this, we know for a fact this guy had Taya in his hand before he even normaled out the Ash. So he could have normaled out the Taya, done all this, and then gone into full combo with Grandmaster. So this guy is misplaying pretty hard. This is a Diamond 5 gameplay, and this should not be happening in Diamond 5, but you guys are seeing it right here. It is happening in Diamond 5. This guy is misplaying heavily, and I cannot emphasize the word heavily at this point. He's misplaying so bad. Then he activates the Baron before he goes into battle phase, pops my Colossus, and since the Colossus was negated, we cannot activate the effect of making it immune to destruction through card effect by banishing a Thunder monster, so our field gets cleared. Now, if I do not draw into a combo starter card on my draw phase, that means we're pretty screwed. Sadly, I did not draw into my combo starter card. We end up drawing into an evenly matched, and since we have a card on the field, we cannot evenly match our opponent. Also, our opponent still has the Omni Negate from the Baron, so we have to keep that in mind as we go into our combo. And I cannot banish any cards because the Sword Soul Sovereign will activate if I banish a card, and it's going to banish a card from the field and from the graveyard. So with this Fateful Adventure, I search for a Griffin Rider. Then I activate the right from my hand and then chain link my Griffin Rider to it, to which my opponent instantly uses his Omni to negate my Griffin coming on the field, because that way his Omni would have been pretty useless at that point. So it goes away, we managed to bait out the Omni, good for us. Then I attach the Draco back to the token. Now keep in mind, I'm putting the token in face-up defense is because there is no way I could use the token to push past my opponent's field anyways, so rather than an attack, put it in defense so that way your opponent cannot kill you next turn. And the card I choose to bounce is the Baron over the Sovereign, because Baron on standby phase can activate its effect to pull the Taya from the graveyard and put it on the field. That would have been a full combo for my opponent. I would have been dead. I do not want to deal with that whatsoever, so we bounce the Baron and keep the Sovereign on the field. So this way, if he does not have a combo starter card in his hand, or if he does not draw into one, we are pretty secure. We do not have to worry about anything. So thankfully, my opponent did not draw into any combo starter card. I'm assuming he did not draw into it because he did not do anything. He just passes his turn. Now, it's not a misplay to not go into battle phase because this token is immune to destruction through battle once per turn, so I was not going to take any damage anyways, so that's the reason why my opponent passed without even going into battle phase. He knows the effect of token with the Draco back and the Fateful Adventure on the field. Draw phase, we draw into a Call by the Grave, not a useful card whatsoever, not a combo starter card. Now you guys might be wondering, I activated the Fateful Adventure and I threw away my Evenly Matched over my Enchantress. Now no, this is not a misplay. I know what I'm doing. I wanted to keep as many bodies on the field. That's the reason why I threw away the Evenly Matched, and I was not going to be activating the Evenly Matched anytime soon in this game anyways, so I ended up discarding it. And right here, we are going to bounce the Sovereign and put our Enchantress face down defense and our turn. Now again, this is not a misplay. I did not put my card's face-up attack. I did not hit him in the face, because if he draws into a combo starter card, now if he draws into a combo starter card, we're dead anyways, but let's say he does not draw into one, but he has a way to put certain monsters on the field. I did not want to take that much damage. We are at 1.8k life points anyways, so I would rather not hit my opponent for 3.5k and then have my opponent kill me in the next turn because of my greed to hit my opponent in the face for 3.5k. So that's the reason why all our cards are face-up defense or face-down defense. I'm just trying to stack my board. Now it turns out this guy drew into a combo starter card, which is the Moye. So with this Moye, he shows me he had another Moye in his hand. He ends up going into Grandmaster. He chainlinks one, the Grandmaster, chainlinks two, the Moye. Pretty good so far. He's playing alright. But we know for a fact that this combo will go into a Longyan into a Baron again, because we did end up bouncing the Baron. So what I end up doing is that I call by the grave, not the Moye. We do not care about the Moye drawing him a card, neither do we care about the Grandmaster searching him for a card. What I'm call by the graving is my opponent's Longyan. So that way, if this Grandmaster searches for a Longyan, he cannot activate the Longyan. So we would not get burned for 1.2k, and then our opponent will not be able to kill us. So with this, he draws a card, searches for a Taya off of the Grandmaster. Now keep in mind, he already used up his normal summon. He does not have his normal summon anymore, so he cannot put the Taya on the field. And since he activated Moye on the field, That means this Enchantress going into right is pretty useless. He's just going to draw into right and that's it. He cannot activate the right. He already activated a face-up monster's effect, a normal summon monster's effect on field. So he ends up going into battle phase, killing off my face-down Enchantress and ends his turn. Again, no face-down card set. We are purely holding on through our Adventure engine and our Nemesis engine. I normaled out my first dropsies, and after that I have not drawn into any of my combo starter cards, so I'm just holding off of my Nemesis plus my Adventure. Right here we draw into the flag. So that means now I know for a fact if I drew, like once I saw this flag, I know I could kill my opponent this turn itself. This is how stupid the engine will be. So let's see how we do it. I am going to kill my opponent this turn. So first of all, we bounce the Grandmaster. I do not want him negating my Nemesis search. With the Adventure, we search for a copy of Enchantress. Now right here, we had 2 copies of Enchantress in our graveyard. So I use one, banish it, that way we get the Nemesis flag activation and we will be able to put that card on the field. We even get another copy of right. So we activate flag, put it on the field, recycle the banished Enchantress. Flag searches us for our corridor. Normal out the corridor and we go off into our Hida. Now Hida only requires 2 monsters including a fire monster. Our flag being our fire monster for Hida. And as long as your opponent has a fire type monster in the graveyard, which in this case was our opponent's Ash Blossom, if I had not called by the grave the Longyan serves as a fire monster as well, so we could have used Longyan as well. We could yoink a fire monster. So I yoink the Ash Blossom. My opponent proceeds to Effect Veiler my Hida. That means we cannot yoink the Ash Blossom. I don't care about that, I'm okay with that. That means he blew up his 1 hand trap. We activate the Instant Fusion. Thankfully, I was at 1.8k life points, so we could activate the Instant Fusion, put the Rocket Ride on the field. This Rocket Ride will serve as a card to link off into our Selene. We go into Selene, we're going to activate Selene as well. And since we had a Spellcaster monster in the graveyard, which is not a Link monster by the way, it only works with Fusion or Normal, or basically any card you can put in defense. Link cannot be put in defense, and we had the Enchantress in the graveyard. So we're gonna pull the Enchantress from the graveyard, put it on the field, go into our access code, and kill our opponent this turn itself. And seeing this, my opponent realized what I was about to do, and he ends up scooping. So I extremely love this deck, how it was built. And basically I did all this without even tapping into my Prankets combo. We beat Sword Soul with just Nemesis and the Adventure engine. That's going to be the end of the game, guys. If you guys do enjoy this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subbing to my channel for more daily Pranket video uploads, and if you guys are interested in the live version of all of this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule and a link to my Discord will be in the video description stuff for you guys to check out. This is JPBDuel signing off for today. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace!